For many decades, Calradia had been a land at war, but early in the year 1112, there were major changes of leadership as the wars of the four powers reached new heights of destruction. The Vikings had continued to arrive by longboat from the north, and their numbers were now hard to fathom. Even conservative estimates put their total in the tens of thousands, as fierce warriors now mated with heavy armor to present a formidable vanguard. Still, their successes had not been unbroken, and several major battlefield setbacks had eventually caused a major regime change.
Think of the devil, and he shall appear.
What the hell is going on?
Our plan is proceeding as expected.
Oh, really? Your hit didn't work, my friend, and now
Leave
you
us.
have... No, you stay here. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
I've paid you a small fortune.
This gives you power over me?
What is this?
Your money and infrastructure have been important. Till now.
Pure evil.
I'm necessary evil.
I do understand, this might be jarring for some, but I think it's the easiest way to do this so that we break these long play sessions into manageable bite-sized chunks. I try to make them about 45 minutes to an hour for you fellas. We're going to regather our army here and head back to the Highlands arena to defend, but we need to do a little bit of a review and recap in case people haven't seen an episode for a few days. I don't always release these episodes every day. Sometimes there's a couple days in between. So this is a good spot. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back again, friends, to our epic Vlandian campaign. I hope it's stood up to the name of epic Vlandian campaign at this stage, full of turns and twists and storylines. I'm doing my very best here as a content creator to make this campaign feel like a savage epic movie, and hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Now let's do a bit of a recap here in between these episodes. The last episode we did a lot of defense down at Ox Hall, down at Drapan Castle, down at Varixan Castle, and while that was happening, our previously taken territory in the Highlands arena is under siege. Now the casualty inflicted is starting to look really good there, right? Against the Aserai, we're definitely giving them a nosebleed, and this is a new change. This actually happened the previous episode. You guys might not have seen it, but King Canute is now in charge of this Sturgeon / we'll call it a Nordic empire, as the Norse continue to impose their will on the Sturgeons. Now in the south, we have Entho the Black is manning our only other army. He's part of the Black Curtain. Of course, this guy was the rebel leader that we just had to add to our campaign as a noble. I think it's badass. He's now part of our campaign, and we also added the Lake Rats. So starting to thicken up here a bit, although our influence continues to be a little bit challenging, partly because these dipshit wolfskins keep trying to overrule all our decisions. They are part of our clan, evidently, as some of you guys have been mentioning in the comments. Now, 3 different castles are under siege here, but Drumore Castle is actually under siege by a single army. So we're probably going to head to Dunglanis here with this powerful army. King Hal at this stage is starting to get a head of steam. He's toting around his pregnant wife. He's definitely doing the horizontal dance on a regular basis. And he's got a nice mixed army, although it is infantry heavy, and that is by design, by his design. I'm not actually in charge. King Hal's in charge, fellas. I'm just narrating what he does, okay, in case you guys haven't figured that part out. Now, I'm probably not going to pay too much attention to Druimore Castle because of Entho. Oh shit, what did that say? Wow, okay. Let's see if we can make it there. 25. It's going to be close. So King Canute is now in charge of the Sturgeons. Ragnvad is gone, right? Ragnvad has departed. And King Canute, of course, this famous character from medieval history, this Danish king, this Nordic king, is now in charge of the Sturgeons. And that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. As I've said before, his stats are elite. His armies that he's leading are going to be large, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So this guy is heading to Druimore Castle. That's Entho the Black. How beautiful, right? That means we can ignore that Sturgeon force that's sieging there. It's a very large force, and we can race, or I guess plod is probably a better word for it. We're moving very slowly here over to Dunglannis. Now, this is about as large of an army as I want to have, but I got to make sure that we have a lot of forces here, because if they're being assaulted by King Canute, that means there's another army there as well. It's at least 2 armies. Shit. Entho the Black is being intercepted. And this is one of the threats, right? There's these looters running around. He's being intercepted. Can't get up to help us. There's nobody else we can call here. Damn it. Hopefully it doesn't get captured. Of course, this is a thing with your player clans. You give them the best shot to succeed. Oh, shit. There's a lot of Sturgeon / Norse here. 3,000. That's about 3,000. I don't know if we're going to make it. 113, 111. It's going to be very close. This city's very close to falling. And I don't think Entho will be able to join. That's the problem here, because he's in combat. So, damn it. We'll see if we even make it there, but Entho might get captured. We're going to have to fight this on our own. Let's see what this looks like. Holy shit. And there's some heavy hitters here. What else can we do? I mean, we could back off and try to fight them in detail. But then what, right? If they all head to the next city, we just watch them siege apart our whole empire? I don't think so, right? King Hal's going to make his stand here. This is the largest army King Hal has had in this campaign. It looks like we got a quest came back. I don't know where those troops came from. It seems like they came out of thin air. I didn't see it if a quest was completed, but maybe we got a guy returned from quest. Sometimes it's in the nick of time here, right? We might need those extra 40 troops. The Banners continues to be a switching game. Against the Sturgeons, I tend to go with the decreased taken melee attack damage. Because their armies tend to be infantry heavy, we're continuing to go with that ranged banner for Hal, for the cavalry division that he's leading. Stupid Henry is leading an army, and his leadership skills are at least proving to decent. They're no longer horrific. And man, look at this shit here. In fact, look at this fucking monster that's here. I mean, he just looks badass. He looks 7 foot tall with a huge axe. Ragnar Lothbrok is here. Basically, all of the Norse lords are here, and King Canute. So this is Battle Royale here. Sit up for this shit. Buckle up. This is going to be gnarly. These are the kind of battles that you just can't pass up in a campaign. And, oh shit, there's 6 defenders. So we just barely got here before the city fell. Now, here's the good news. We can back out, right? If a lot of times in a... Shit, they're tossing us right in. Let's take a second here and divide our units. Let's do the 4th. I'll do this while I explain what I was going to say. A lot of times in a siege like this, the enemy, of course, is fixated on the siege. And if you retreat with a couple 300 troops at the end, you can usually escape. So it isn't a do-or-die battle, but man, is this an important battle in this campaign. And buckle up, all you supporters, all you captains and commanders that are part of the army here. Now, Entho the Black and Commander Hall are not here, right? Because they got intercepted by forces trying to get to us. I don't think they can join even with the reinforcement system. And I can't imagine the Sturgeons will get reinforcements, but I guess they could, right? They have a huge amount of forces. And the enemy is coming in hot. So let's come up with a strategy here. Let's start off with a side order of strafing horse archers with the cavalry division to protect it. And there's a bit of a ridge back here where we can get a little bit of isolation with their infantry vanguard. And what a fucking vanguard it's going to be, right? This is going to be basically the gnarliest Varangian force we've ever faced. Look at that ridge. That's going to work really well. We can get our archers down here and infantry divisions to collapse on the enemy. We're really going to have to pound these Varangians, though, because we're approaching the edge of the map, right? The edge of the map is probably 200 or 300 yards from where I'm standing, so we won't be able to kite very far. And I know this just from playing thousands of hours of Bannerlord. Now the good news is we should be able to cut off a lot of their archers and mitigate how much they can shoot, mitigate how many of their cavalry can get down here. I'm having difficulty with these rocks, but I'm hoping the AI has a hard time with these rocks too. These kind of serve as a natural barrier here to protect our forces. God damn it. Sorry for blasphemy here. They've got a smidgen of horse archers. You know what I think that is? I bet that's all lords. It's 13 guys there. Those look like all elite Norse lords riding away like they came up to menace us. And here comes their infantry, just in a huge threatening wave, sprinting as fast as they can to get to our ranks. Of course, their infantry is so elite that it makes sense. Good strategy for them would be charge. F1, F3, just pouring in. Now I see fucking being champs and other high-end archers too to boot. So buckle up. This is going to be gnarly. And this is what you guys are here for, right? You guys are here for epic battles. I presume it's not just to listen to some crusty old guy give anecdotal stories of the fire service and the history knowledge I've acquired. You guys are here for combat. You guys are here for tactics and sprawling battlefield scenes. But you got one right here. I've got a bracketed horse archer division there behind a skein. I don't do that very often, but the angles play well there. We've got infantry on the left here that we're going to squeeze in on the enemy, and then skirmishers on our right. Hopefully the skirmisher division mixed with archers can really pelt the enemy's right flank over here, left flank, our right. Try to slide those guys in behind that huge vanguard, and it just looks awesome. It's just a blob of 500 Varangians. Every unit in there pretty much is a Varangian. Let the axes fly, baby. Our first division probably has 30 Varangians of our own, but, you know, that's a 20th of what the enemy has, so it's not going to be that impactful. And keep an eye on the damage. It's going to be interesting. Some of these Nordic lords, get out of here, Sixth. Some of these guys have way above normal medicine skills, so their troop will have, some of their troops will have 300 hit points. So keep an eye on the damage. We'll see if we do 280 to somebody and he still survives. That's definitely a possibility here. As if the Varangians weren't nasty enough, we've given them double or triple the normal hit points. We love it. Let's bring the challenge on here, boys. Come on. Sixth is beautifully positioned, pelting their side. Let's get horse archers up on that top area there and start boring in here with infantry. This will keep these guys occupied while the horse archers and the skirmishers go to work. Our crossbow division there, we're just going to have to square it and pull it back. Those guys are very vulnerable towards the end of the map. Just pull them out of harm's way here. Save them from all these throwing axes. They're getting drilled. Our fourth is perfectly positioned, if I do say so myself. And now it's time to do a little hammer and anvil. Right? Pull this second division sort of behind the enemy here and just surround them with steel and iron. Sixth is a little vulnerable. The fifth can be unleashed as well now that they've survived their attack. The enemy is pushing archers up, so we want to continue to menace them with cavalry. There's an enemy lord right there. There's a bunch of enemy lords in here. Die! And the enemy arrows are sneaking over that ridge. They're starting to trickle down to our troops here. George the Bandit King racking up kills. Let's get another cav charge in here. Come on, boys. Seal the deal here. Let's see what's going on up here. They do have a... Oh, shit. I didn't mean to get off my horse. Fucking banner not getting my way. Fuck, there's a big bad death spray. They got a bunch of archers up here. Let's give them one cav division in defense and bring the other one and just run it through their ranks here. Try to keep these archers at least occupied, if not killed. We'll have to deal with them later. If we could destroy this vanguard, more accurately when, we'll get reinforcements. Let's rush the shit out of these archers. The enemy did move maybe 300 or 400 feet away, or 340 yards maybe, from their starting point, so we should have at least some ability to chase down their units if and when they pull back. Oh fuck, we gotta destroy this vanguard first. They're still down here wailing away on our units. Horse archers are flanking them, and they're still killing our troops. That's a good flush though. Got a nice big flush of green as our troops finally wear them out. Crossbow charging as well. And we did push their archers off, right? It probably cost us some cavalry, but that's a good trade-off, right? Defensive cavalry. And look at this. They're vulnerable here. Let's go. We've got reinforcements popping out right amongst them. In fact, these are all of our troops right here. Let's run down these archers before a lot of these guys reform. Oh, we've got at least 300 yards here to run these guys down before they get back to safety. There's also a ridge between where they're coming, more reinforcements are coming, and where these archers are getting to. Let's rush these guys and set up here on this ridge. It'll function as our next location to work some tactics from. And these guys kill some of these Fiend champs. God, the enemy has a ton of Fiend champs. That just makes it even more gnarly. Varangians and Fiend champs. Hell on earth. Die. Okay, they've got a couple hundred yards still to come. We should be able to set up here, although it might be close if they rush up quick. They have a huge cavalry vanguard on our right. We're going to have to do some defensive structures over here to deny them a big sweeping flank attack. I've got to be a little bit conservatory with ammo here. With sharpshooters especially, right? You got to be conscious of that ammo. But I've got a beautiful ridge here to set up. And if the enemy either comes over it or jams up against the other side, we're going to have them in a barrel. Oh, they're playing defensive. That's even better. That's going to buy us time here to set up. We can kill a few more of their troops. Fucking Fiend champs. All these guys retreating are going to be causing damage here in 10 minutes. So far, so good, though. That was the kind of exchange we needed. Of course, you probably don't see the power bar. For big battles like this, you can just count on me removing it. You guys are gonna... I'm in suspense, you guys are in suspense. This has all the makings of a fucking classic battle here. I mean, it's basically all of the Norse... The top Nord leadership is at this battle. And we've got a bit of a stalemate, a showdown at the Bannerlord corral here as they've got a defensive position. Remember, we attacked them. Conceivably, they could sit there and wait. Now they're in a tight glob. I've got some ideas. Never mind, here they come. I was going to say I've got some ideas. This side over here would work well for a flank. They have 213 heavy cavalry over there. How nasty is that? Alright, let's put up some defensive structures on this side over here. We're going to have to watch our right flank. If that cavalry just pours through here right at the moment the enemy attacks, we're going to be in trouble. It's mostly the disruption they do, right? They knock your archers all over the place. Your horse archers suddenly have a fucking spear in their face. It's still so important to play defense when you have an enemy cav charge coming in. I mean, it's a huge amount. And they are coming too. It's a mix of infantry and archers. It's kind of half and half. Now, we could use this flank as well. Both of these flanks have kind of nice visual opportunities here to flank. But if they will come to us, right, we're going to do sweeping cavalry movement and basically rotate our entire C, let's see, in a counterclockwise direction, right, from our left to our right. Because of that nice low open dell over there, if they start poking their head over the edge of this ridge, we're going to sweep cavalry over here, horse archers, try to get an archer division, and then just roll up the enemy's flank. Their cavalry's moving up, so are the rest of their troops. And I got goosebumps. This shit's fucking so awesome. It's just a huge vanguard of cavalry, too. I mean, that's about as many as it gets. Now, they're all Jav cav, too, which is particularly nasty. The Drudziniks are not that scary, but Javelin cavalry is nasty because they throw it at a high rate of speed. They'll one-shot troops, right? They do major damage, and we're going to have to deal with that shit. I've got to get cav. No. I've got to get cav out in front of them in a defensive line. The enemy is trickling up from our right to left, which is not perfect, but we're going to be able to make it work. Let's set out some units here way to the enemy's right or left. I keep getting my left and right. I shouldn't ever bother telling you guys the enemy's left or our left. It's our position that matters. Our right side is how we're going to roll. Oh, here they come, too. There's just a giant mass of cavalry leading for their infantry. Bring the first and third up here. Let's start swinging cavalry around hard. We want to have a head of steam, though, when we collide. So let's pull a big, sweeping, pulling momentum here. God, there's a lot of troops there clashing in the center. Let's bring the 2nd Division over. That way that cavalry can support us as we bore in. Archers have a good angle here. Now we've just got to make our collapsing move. Get the 7th Division. I wish we had 100 horse archers here, right? We'd be able to put them on the flank here and just shred everything. In we go now. Now the question is, what do we do if we start getting wiped out and they have reinforcements right away? That's the hardest question for a commander. I think we're going to continue to press. We'll see what it looks like. Man, it's bloody. These units have so many hit points. Wow, and there you go. I think that guy took 254 and didn't die. So that tells you all you need to know, right? We are fighting brutal enemies here. And it's glorious. Kill them! Still got tons of health. That's amazing. You usually don't get to this stage in the battlefield with the full health bar. We've been staying on our horse, moving quick, and avoided, I usually get scorched right here. We've avoided, God, they have a ton of tough infantry there. The reinforcements are a ways away, though, right? So what do? You push as hard as you can right into their masses, because at this stage we probably outnumber them. We've probably done enough of a number on them that we can bore in here, inflict major damage before they get help. Once you commit, you just don't back out. Our troops are tearing up this right flank, our right flank. Let's get these archers and horse archers on the enemy flank. We can get a little protectionary cav division out in front, little tiny division of the 8th Corps. God, it's bloody. They have just a huge, thick line of tough infantry. Die! They still have Varangians back here. This is what an epic battle feels like. It's so sweet. Alright, those horse archers are in good position, flanking the enemy, protecting against cavalry coming in here. Let's square this 8th Division and push it over. That way it draws in some attention. And we've done about as much as we can as a commander here to help our sides win. Now at this stage, the reinforcements start to get so hodgepodge coming up in 200 at a time that it's hard to order your lines here. It's better just to charge. Get in here and kill some fucking guys around the edges of the battlefield. And I got an adrenaline rush going. Caffeine and adrenaline. You guys probably can't understand what I'm saying. Alright, we're bringing up infantry lines. It's very tight here in the middle, though. Man, it's just a fucking bloodbath. Both sides are just swinging it out. Just haymakers. Crossbow. Fuck. God, just took a nasty shot. Alright, too deep into their ranks. I just wanted to see what they had going on here. I am going to run while I can. Thanks for the advice. Hurry up. We got to get our infantry reinforcements up here. It's urgent. They're mixed halfway in between. We can put archers down here in the valley. At least they can set up for our next wave. We might have to fall back to this spot here, but the infantry and cavalry have to keep charging. Holy shit, they have a ton of troops right here. I thought we killed most of them. Fuckers. God damn, they're taking a lot of damage and not dying. Die! That square's dissolved. it's breaking down into chaos here. It's beautiful chaos, but it's fucking chaos. Let's get this second division up here ASAP. We could split this into 2 different divisions. We've got 276 infantry coming up. You wonder how many good ones are left, though, right? We've already run through a wave of infantry. We don't have endless tier 5 infantry. Alright, so we can make 2 different archer divisions, 2 different infantry divisions. We have a nice cavalry division here. Man, the death spam just turned bad. And I still see Sturgeon Lords killing our troops. That just tells you how many hit points they have, right? They've been through this whole maelstrom and are still fighting. Fuck. Gotta avoid a javelin to the face here. King Hal's learned his lesson with the javelins, right? They're getting smoked a few times. God, they have a ton of archers still. These guys won't die. It's so hard to tell what's going on. I know you guys are just staring at it like, what? How the fuck can you make sense of it? I can't really make sense of this. We have tons of troops coming up. What I can tell you is we have 2 infantry lines, we have 2 archer lines, and I'm trying to make sense of it all. Right? A lot of these guys aren't even getting to their position before they're attacked, though, because there's so much carnage. There's pockets of isolated battle. There's chaos. There's individual units hashing it out at the margins of it. And you get these huge epic battles like this, it turns into a gigantic chaotic scrum. We still got half a health bar though, we're still doing pretty good. Our infantry line here is formed up pretty well. Let's move those guys forward. Might have just enough to win this battle. Man, it's tight. We've got a little bit of a ridge here to defend, but at this stage I can't reposition. If I reposition, we'd lose 200-300 troops. It seems like we're losing them just in these small movements. Not getting stuck. Get out of there. Fuck. Fuck, I got smoked in the face. I think I got a level. That'll teach you some experience to get shot in the face. Our boys are roaring. They're coming up. Come on, boys. I haven't seen any of our companions get a kill in a while. Probably Hal is the only one left up. I mean, it's such a fucking maelstrom of damage. It's so hard to stay alive in battle like this. To hell with you, he says. Smokes the guy. I got a little bit of a cav distraction working, and they pulled right through beautifully. Now we got to get the rest of these troops moved up and take advantage of it. 355 infantry. Alright, that first division's still fat. I see some weaker troops coming up. There's like tier 3 units coming up, but if we have that many infantry, we could definitely continue to make an offensive press. I just saw the enemy infantry. It says 540, 280 archers. Oh shit, and we've got a lot of guys with no shirt. We're down to the fucking raggedy troops here.
Follow me!
Let's try to drag cavalry across the middle here. This works well to distract. It disrupts archers. The death spam is really good, right? It's very temporary, but it looks really good. Let's see what happens when the enemy gets all these enemy forces up here. They've got low-level troops too, man. We are in a fucking dogfight. Charge, boys. It just fucking gives me chills. We're one spear away from being killed, too. Now, we can still take over, right? I can run around with the Sturgeon Brigand, but it's very different having King Hal. Oh, shit. We lost our horse. Let's bring all our infantry up here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a horse here. Let's join the infantry line, though. Hal is starting to become serviceable. On foot, right? Let the boy win his spurs. Die. Die, you bastard. Man, what a fucking crazy battle. I'm pitted out, just trying not to take a fucking savage blow from the horse. It's chaos. We got raggedy troops coming up. Let's try to get archers off to the flank. No, I don't want them to charge. Off to the fucking flank. God damn it. The fucking UI's giving me a hard time here. I'm trying to flank on our right. If we can get infantry towards the center and archers flanking, it'll work well, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to position those guys. I've got this Consguard following me. Let's just have him charge. And we got to get in here. We don't have much health, but these are weaker troops. We've got a shield. Let's join the fucking waves here. They're throwing waves of javelins at us. That's so beautiful. Kill them, boys! They've got recruits too. Come on, get this cavalry in there. Just push those guys forward. God, the death spam doesn't look good. I'm probably better off just using my glaive. Can just run along and distract, kill an occasional guy. I've got like 10 dudes chasing me. But we've got our endurance up, right? So we're starting to move around pretty quick. Fuck, die. The death spam looks good. Come on, boys. There's another wave coming, but they're all recruits. A bunch of Sturgeon Nordic troops from Wales. You're dead. No, you're dead. Shit. They've got a lot of recruits too. Man, we are really down to the end. I've got to get these fucking archers repositioned. These fucking archers are spraying us over here. Die! Little recruit swinging his hammer at me, fucker. God, I need a horse too. If I could get on a horse, I could try to get these archers repositioned. Look at them all standing here. We've got to get these guys to our right flank. Get over here. I needed them there 2 minutes ago. Hurry up. They're just standing there. Fuck. I think that's a horse. Maybe I can get a horse. I don't know. I don't see any horses at all. Fuck you, Sturgeons. Fucking enemies pouring in on our archers before they can reposition. There's a horse. Get off. I said get off your horse, motherfucker. Fuck, it's close. I don't see any other forces coming. I see fucking troops routing. God damn it. I think we've lost. There's one cons guards there. And you know what we got to do here? We got to bail. We've lost this fucking battle. Close, but we've lost. Man.
Everyone retreat!
I mean, we should be able to escape unless they have forces nearby that track us down. 740 deaths. I mean, it's not a disaster, but this is a savage loss for us. The key is getting out of here. There's looters over there. We got to avoid getting captured here. If we can avoid getting captured, it's not a complete disaster. And I think we're clear. This is what I mean. The enemy ends up focusing on the city, and man, I'm slumped in my seat, all disappointed. Oh, man, you have these tight, close battles. Entho survived, though. Thank God. At least there's a glimmer of hope. And we escaped a huge showdown. I didn't see anybody die. If they did, they still have 2,400 troops there with the injured. I'm going to take a shower. That was fucking both exhilarating and exhausting. I've been playing for a little while here. I think I'm going to call this session good. Man, what a savage battle that was, and I hate to disappoint, but I also know that us having losses is part of the game. It's part of the intention of this campaign is to make it brutally difficult, and it doesn't get much more brutal than that. So, with all that said, of course, friends, you want to subscribe if you want to see more. I appreciate you fellas. All right, we log back in. We had a brutal battle yesterday, and we're just going to continue playing here. We'll go ahead and do an intro here. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. 506 troops. At least we escaped. We can run to Carbantheth. Hell, we could even defend Drumore Castle. We've got Entho the Black down here. Hopefully he defends. Although he's barely surviving. I got to get some caffeine here and try to figure out this mess. We had, of course, I don't know how we'll do it. We'll edit it somehow. We had a savage battle yesterday against a huge amount of Norse and Sturgeon forces. Shit, here they come. And we couldn't quite pull it out. Of course, if you're watching these chronologically, you're aware. And as if to signal the tragicness of the battle, there's like some sort of dramatic, sad violin music playing on our random soundtrack. And we're going to try to regroup here, right? We're going to try to do some consolidation. We might call Entho the Black, right? Commander Hall to our army here. That's the difference in that battle. If we get those 300 or 400 troops added into our army, we win there. So it is an example, the danger of having these separate armies run around. But I really think you got to do that. And thank God we've got a bunch of good troops here in Karabantsith. We're going to be able to virtually restock our army like new. And no deaths, right? We did not have any major deaths in that battle. That is a big relief. You know, that's the kind of battle where you could lose Rose, you could lose, you know, Commander Hall, you could lose all kinds of different troops in a battle like that. It's kind of amazing. We had that kind of a bloodbath. I was literally pitted out. I took a shower and I was in the shower trying to think how I could have fought that battle differently. It's a challenge, right? There's all kinds of variables that play in a battle like that. And of course, we have stacked the dice. This is hard of a... We have 50 Skolderbrod. Man, that's wild. This is the kind of thing that happens in a campaign like this where you crank and ratchet the difficulty to the moon. You're going to have battles that are either unwinnable or almost unwinnable. And maybe that was just a battle that was unwinnable. But we won't dwell on it too much here. We'll dust ourselves off and continue in this campaign. Now, I can tell you one thing. We're going to have to adjust our strategy on some level. In fact, I'm reminded of the 1814 campaign in Russia with Napoleon against the 6th Coalition, where they enacted something called the Trachenberg Plan. And maybe we will talk about that a little bit here in between battle. It'll probably be a little bit here because, frankly, we're going to avoid battle. And that was actually the strategy that they employed. It was a convention. It was a bunch of the leaders of the different armies and countries, states across Europe, Prussia, Austria, etc. And what they essentially did is they came up with a plan. They acknowledged the superiority of Napoleon as a battlefield commander, and they said, look, we're going to try to avoid combat with Napoleon. We're going to attack his other marshals. We're going to try to stretch out his other forces. We're going to attack where they are weak. We will attack smaller forces, and wherever Napoleon shows up, we will basically avoid combat. We will frustrate the French, and we will essentially try to eliminate their greatest asset, and that was the tactical genius of Napoleon. Now, in this case, tactically, of course, we can handle the enemy. It's the power of those Norse units. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to fight them. What it means, though, is that I'll probably be a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more deliberate about where we engage. That was certainly a battle for glory. We almost pulled it off. If we had Entho, we probably win that battle. But what we can start to do here is essentially consolidate some of the gains we've made in the Highland arena. I'm not thrilled about where Entho's going right now, and these dipshits keep asking for peace. There's no way I can avoid that, other than eventually they'll run out of influence. It's that stupid Wolfskin guy. Now, this is good. The Sturgeons/Norse are at war with the Khazate, right? The Khazate are out there. Shit, we're getting deserters. And the Khazate have a very powerful kingdom too, right? It is the war of the 4 powers, not the 3 powers. And right now, Hal feels like he's juggling 2 monster MMA fighters in the ring at the same time. We could use our a teammate here. Now, I don't know if we're going to be allied with the Khazate so much as they will be in the fray as well. And to this date, they have not declared war, of course. These fuckers granting Dunglanis to their lords and stuff like that. Now, Entho the Black, he's healed up. Maybe he'll attack there at Aster. We're definitely going to attack here. In fact, I'll just auto-resolve this. And on a very micro level, this is a good example of what I mean, right? Let's fight the Norse where we outnumber them 4-1. Oh, shit. And he still did 200 casualties. It shows the power of these lords. We outnumbered him 4-1 there, and he did some savage damage to our army right there. I don't think that happens, of course, if we fight it out. But again, it does show you, and look at the troops he has, right? They're all tier 5, tier 4, Varangians. He's got Banner Knights, Fiend Champs. It's awesome. It's difficult, but it's also awesome, right? We're fighting gnarly enemies in this campaign. This is not going to be a campaign where we win outnumbered 6-1, like Zuvan's deathmatch campaign against mediocre troops. These are the hardest troops, basically, you can fight in Bannerlord, and realistically, it's harder than you can fight. Now, that looked like Entho the Black has raised his heroic hand and says, I want some too. How beautiful is that, right? Entho the Black is, I thought we had food here. Entho the Black is trying to be a commander. Now, I don't have reinforcements nearby other than Karbanthith, but we do have almost 2,000 troops, right? With Entho the Black's army here and some other armies coming our way, we might have 2,800 still in the Highlands arena. So, we're not defeated. And here's my thought. Karbanthith is bait. I'm basically going to let the enemy attack Karbanthith. We're going to sweep around to the south, and I'm going to surprise you with something. We are going to sweep through Asurai territory. Yeah, more is less. We're not about to marry our mom off to some guy who's got a nicer dress than him or than her. Sorry there, dude. She's our mom. She's staying in our family. Of course, there's no way we're marrying our mom to the scum Norse. And we want to help Entho here, although it looks like he's got it wrapped up. 90 versus 30. This dipshit asking for peace. And he's costing us a huge amount of influence. That's a problem. Because this fucking guy here is basically sabotaging King Hal's influence. We may have to roleplay something into there, or even eject the guy from the clan, because he's being quite cumbersome to our influence. And then, of course, I can't give influence to Entho and George the Bandit King. Of course, George, you guys are welcome to put either on the Patreon or in the comments. Execute aided, dude. We could definitely execute this fuck here for interfering. All right, so traveling to Karbanthith. This is where it's very, very much a decision, a judgment call. I'm going to sweep through what I was going to say before I got interrupted by myself, is we're going to actually sweep through Asurai territory, because I don't want to deal with those sturgeons right now. The Asurai we have punched in the nose. There's an opening here for us to pick up a bunch of territory to the south here. There are defendable cities, defendable castles, right? Abcomer Castle. So I think it makes sense for us just to sweep south here, start with Pencanic. Look, they don't even have a garrison. The shit's rebelling. And then what we can essentially do is trade. Now, I don't like this at all. In fact, I'm not okay with this. He's going to get killed up there. This is an automatic situation where if you could tell him, hey, go sit in Karbanthith and defend. If you can't tell him, though, this makes a lot more sense. As we've got guys here taken off from our army. This makes a lot more sense to just go in here and say, I don't think so, Entho. We're not letting you get captured today. We tried our luck there against the Norse. We don't think your 348 are going to do anything here. You lose a little bit of influence, a little bit of relations, but it doesn't matter. And now, beautiful, right? We can add every single army here and make a doom stack. Now, it's going to make us slower. Guzid of the Asurai. Right, friends, we have done a little bit of a recap here, a little bit of editing for you as I continue to try to push you guys through some of the less important or less dramatic portions of this campaign. This campaign, back and forth we go here. The War of the Four Powers has been a real bloodbath both ways. And I'm just going to give you some of the highlights of what we did. Again, continuing sort of a variation of the Treckenberg plan, which maybe I'll talk about here. I've clipped together 3 or 4 minutes of different battles. We took Pencanic very easily. Now we have a massive army, and we have King Hal leading a huge army of skirmishers. What does that mean? Well, that means that the enemy has no chance defending the wall. All you gotta do is get troops on the wall, make these guys vulnerable, hold up your shield, and everything dies, right? King Hal is just like, yeah, come get some, right? Fire, and everything melts. So King Hal led his troops to Pencanic, and it was very quick because we have a huge army at this stage, or I should use past tense since this, of course, is all after. It always feels weird to narrate these afterwards. Try to give you some ESPN highlights, though. Then we blasted through Abcomer, and amazingly low casualties. I mean, we're talking 40, 50, 29 casualties at Abcomer Castle. Next on the list was Talavel Castle, and all of this happened within like 6 or 7 days. None of these battles were worth showing you, and so of course we've skipped them. I have clipped together again this highlight screen, as well as this nasty part here. again, developing that skirmisher division. We have these lake rats, we have these Skolderbroda, and now we're starting to get some Batanian skirmishers. Watch this strategy here. This is about as nasty as it gets, right? 300 skirmishers set in a huge long line down there. As soon as the enemy comes over to defend these ladders, it's good night. It's absolute destruction. Fucking bodies launching past you. And of course, you know, thank goodness there's no friendly fire. But basically, the enemy melted here. I think we killed about 200 troops in a minute and a half with almost no losses, right? Because the enemy is basically fish in a bottle here. Now, if they don't defend, fish in a barrel. If they don't put troops on the wall here, we would just march into their castle. So the enemy's in a checkmate situation, and King Hal took full advantage of it. This is quite a nasty strategy, so I wanted to include that in this episode. After we blew them off the walls, it was time for some courtyard destruction, which was short and sweet. And this was 3 different locations that we sieged and took within about a week of game time with very few casualties, which of course is going to enable us to rebuild these armies, put some troops in the garrison, and still have a big field army. In fact, again, we'll probably end up breaking these armies into multiple pieces. Hopefully they can defend. So just a little ESPN highlight reel there, just to keep you guys sort of up to speed on how we got here. Right? Talavel Castle, Abcomer Castle, and Pancannock, all ours. And again, 45 casualties against 500 defenders. Yeah, that'll work. Now the settings for these are, you know, they're highly variable, highly editable. So guys have been asking, why haven't I been fighting these? This is just convenient. It's in the way here. We've got a few companions that could probably use a little bit of EXP, but frankly, there's a lot of reasons I'm not doing these besides the fact that they're just tedious. Even with these settings, of course, you're still facing freebooters and stuff like that. It would be cool if it was Fiend Champs and a bunch of nasty units, or they were really high-end bandits. But even with like 80 bandits in the hideout here, you know, they're still just absolute fodder for an elite army like ours. Nevertheless, we'll do this one here. We'll have some exciting narration attached to it. But we need to wrap this episode up as well. I'm probably going to do a heavy editing of a lot of these sieges, especially the siege of Abcomer. It was just an absolute cakewalk. We'll probably show a little bit of some of the tactics we used at Talavel Castle, these savage skirmishers here. Now, the ending to these can be hard because it's like 25 bandits at once, but we have very, very stout troops with us here, some companions, and I don't mind just ripping these guys apart. We'll take some prisoners too, right? I like continuing to having some bandits in the army here, even if they're freebooters. We should be able to get a forced bandit or 2 out of this, and then we will move on. Now, I'm going to wrap this episode up, but before we do so, I want to talk about the next episode, basically some plans, some strategy for it. One of the things we have to do is we have to continue reassembling these armies, but in this shrunken sized, we're going to be able to attack targets of opportunity more readily, right? With 1,000 troops, it's a lot easier to attack targets of opportunity. When you have 2,000 in a big army, you lumber around the battlefield. That said, I'm going to try to keep these other armies nearby us so that they can add with the reinforcement system. So I think we'll run to Barrack Sand Castle and wrap this episode up. Entho, the Black Commander Hall, took off. Now, they haven't formed an army, which is disconcerting because I think they have plenty of influence. Yeah, they have plenty of influence. But a couple of them did say, it said defending Carbanza. So maybe they'll go up there and defend, which would be optimal, right? Usually, again, if they attack in a situation like that where they defend, that is because the AI thinks they can win. And if they're doing it in that case, there's an added benefit of them not being in an army and that they'll move faster on the way up there. If they're all part of one army, they can get attacked by an enemy easier, they can get intercepted, and of course they move slower. There are advantages to having a smaller army in Bannerlord, and hopefully next episode we could show some of that. We're going to run a little bit more lean and mean. It'll make tactics even more essential, of course, because we'll have an army of maybe 1,000 or 1,200. 1,200 is kind of my sweet spot, but we'll see if we could do okay here. I'm going to call a few of these armies back to us that are kind of wandering off into into no man's land. And look at this. This is beautiful, right? They got up there quick too because they were by themselves. Carbanthus is defended by Commander Hall. This is the perfect spot to end this episode. Almost for sure they're going to be successful at Carbanthus. We'll leave that as a little tiny bit of a cliffhanger here and wrap up this long episode today. So of course, if you want to see more from this campaign, learn more about campaign strategy, using these little missile armies, using a fast, lean, and mean army, now's your chance to subscribe. Please hit notify, that way you know when new content comes out. I appreciate you fellas. Hit that like button. I thought I didn't say that already. That stupid little request. And I will see you folks next time.